won't be fooled. We're breaking through, breaking through. Their propaganda we can see right through. We're waking up, ain't nothing they can do. They lied to you.
Have you ever wondered how powerful queens in history found their faith in Islam? Today, we turn the pages of time back to the era of pharaohs and mighty kingdoms, embarking on a journey through the lives of two remarkable queens, the Queen of Pharaoh, Asiya, and the Queen of Sheba, Bilqis. The Quran, the holy book of Islam, beautifully narrates their stories, offering us a glimpse into their lives and their journeys to faith. These sagas of spiritual awakening unfold in the midst of power, prestige, and tumultuous circumstances, shedding light on the transformative power of faith. Asiya, the Queen of Pharaoh, was married to one of the most tyrannical rulers of the time. She lived in the lap of luxury, surrounded by the opulence of the pharaonic court. But material riches could not quench her spiritual thirst. She yearned for truth and righteousness, a journey that eventually led her to the path of Islam. Her story is vividly recounted in Surah Al-Tahrim, verse 11, where she prays to God, seeking refuge from the tyranny of Pharaoh. Despite her husband's oppressive reign, Asiya found solace and strength in her newfound faith. She fearlessly defied Pharaoh, even in the face of death, holding steadfast to her belief in the one true God. Then we have the Queen of Sheba, Bilqis, a wise and just ruler known for her prosperous kingdom. Her story intertwines with that of Prophet Solomon, adding another layer of intrigue to her narrative. Like Asiya, Bilqis too embarks on a journey of spiritual discovery, which we will delve into in the next scene. These two queens, though from different times and backgrounds, share a common thread: their spiritual quest that led them to embrace Islam. Their stories are not merely tales from the past, but timeless lessons of faith, courage, and resilience. In the face of adversity, the Queen of Pharaoh found her faith, making her a significant figure in Islamic history. And so, our journey into the past begins, illuminating the path to faith taken by these two powerful queens. Can a bird lead a queen to faith? The Queen of Sheba would say yes. Our tale begins with a hoopoe bird, a creature of the air, bringing news of a magnificent kingdom to Prophet Solomon. This kingdom was ruled by a powerful and wealthy woman, the Queen of Sheba. But her wealth and power were not accompanied by the guidance of faith. In 27:20-25, God says, "One day he inspected the birds and wondered, why is it that I cannot see the hudhud, or could he be absent? I will surely subject him to a severe punishment, or even slaughter him, unless he brings me a compelling excuse." It was not long before the bird came and said, "I have found out something you do not know. I have just come to you from Sheba with sure news. Indeed, I found a woman ruling over them, one who has been given everything she needs, and who has a magnificent throne. I found her and her people prostrating to the sun instead of Allah. For Satan has made their deeds appealing to them, hindering them from the right way and leaving them unguided, so they do not prostrate to Allah, who brings forth what is hidden in the heavens and the earth, and knows what you all conceal and what you reveal." Upon hearing of the queen and her people's sun worship, Solomon, known for his wisdom and judgment, sent the bird back with a letter inviting the queen to embrace Islam. Intrigued and not one to shy away from a challenge, the Queen of Sheba decided to test this wise king. She sent him gifts, but Solomon did not seek material wealth. He sought the enlightenment of faith. He returned the gifts, reaffirming his invitation to the path of Islam. In verse 27-29, God says the queen later announced, "O chiefs, indeed a noble letter has been delivered to me. It is from Solomon and it reads, 'In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful. Do not be arrogant with me, but come to me, fully submitting to Allah.'" She said, "O chiefs, advise me in this matter of mine, for I would never make any decision without you." They responded, "We are a people of strength and great military might, but the decision is yours, so decide what you will command." She reasoned, "Indeed, when kings invade a land, they ruin it and debase its nobles. They really do so. But I will certainly send him a gift, and see what response my envoys will return with." When the chief envoy came to him, Solomon said, "Do you offer me wealth? What Allah has granted me is far greater than what he has granted you. No, it is you who rejoice in receiving gifts." The queen, intrigued by Solomon's wisdom and integrity, decided to visit him. On her arrival, Solomon presented her with a palace that had a floor of clear glass, giving the illusion of a shimmering pool of water. The queen, assuming it to be water, lifted her garment, revealing her legs. To this, Solomon informed her that it was merely an illusion created by the clear glass. This encounter with Solomon's wisdom and the reality of illusion left the queen in awe. It was a moment of realization, a moment where she confronted the illusions in her own life. She recognized her worship of the sun as misplaced, an illusion just like the glass floor. In the presence of Solomon, the Queen of Sheba declared her faith in Allah, the one true God. From a queen who basked in the glory of her wealth and power, she transformed into a humble servant of God, acknowledging her submission to him. In verse 27:42-44 it says, "So when she arrived, it was said to her, 'Is your throne like this?' She replied, 'It looks to be the same. We have already received knowledge of Solomon's prophethood before this miracle, and have submitted to Allah.' But she had been hindered by what she used to worship instead of Allah, for she was indeed from a disbelieving people. Then she was told, 'Enter the palace.' But when she saw the hall, she thought it was a body of water, so she bared her legs. Solomon said, 'It is just a palace paved with crystal.' At last she declared, 'My lord, I have certainly wronged my soul. Now I fully submit myself along with Solomon to Allah, the Lord of all worlds.'" The Queen of Sheba's journey to Islam, sparked by a bird's message, reinforces the idea that faith can be found in the most unexpected places. Two queens, two distinct paths, but a shared destination: Islam. In the annals of Islamic history, the stories of the Queen of Pharaoh and the Queen of Sheba hold a distinct place. Both were powerful rulers in their own right, leading vast empires with wisdom and courage. Yet, their true legacy lies not in their earthly dominions, but in their spiritual journeys. Journeys that led them from the opulence of their palaces to the humility of the Islamic faith. The Queen of Pharaoh, Asiya, is celebrated in the Quran as a paragon of virtue. Despite being married to one of the most tyrannical rulers of ancient history, her heart was filled with kindness and compassion. When she found baby Moses by the Nile, she adopted him, setting in motion a series of events that would ultimately lead to her embracing Islam. Her tale serves as a testament to the power of faith and courage in the face of adversity. In the revelation of Allah, the harmful stereotype of the evil stepmother is turned on its head. The best-known example of a foster mother in the Quran is Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh, who took the infant Musa into her home out of love for the child, and she is recognized as one of the most virtuous women of Islam. At the time Musa was born, sometime after the time of the prophet Joseph, Pharaoh had enslaved the Israelites and indeed subjugated all of his people to authoritarian rule. He routinely persecuted groups of his subjects according to his whim. The Israelites, many of whom worshipped Allah, were frequent and favorite targets of his abuse. As the Quran says, indeed Pharaoh arrogantly elevated himself in the land and divided its people into subservient groups, one of which he persecuted, slaughtering their sons and keeping their women. He was truly one of the corruptors. Quran 28:4. But Allah al-Muqtadir, the all-powerful, chose to uplift the very people persecuted by Pharaoh. But it was our will to favor those who were oppressed in the land, making them models of faith as well as successors, and to establish them in the land, and through them show Pharaoh, Haman, and their soldiers the fulfillment of what they feared. Quran 28:5-6. And so Allah guided Moses' mother to hide the infant in a closed box, tied to the reeds along the Nile, when Pharaoh's murderous forces came around looking for a baby boy. We inspired the mother of Moses. Nurse him, but when you fear for him, put him then into the river and do not fear or grieve. We will certainly return him to you and make him one of the messengers. Quran 28:7. Pharaoh's people picked him up only to become their enemy and source of grief. Surely Pharaoh, Haman, and their soldiers were sinful. Pharaoh's wife said to him, "This baby is a source of joy for me and you, do not kill him. Perhaps he may be useful to us, or we may adopt him as a son." They were unaware of what was to come. Quran 28:8-9. As an adult, he would bring about the undoing of Pharaoh as willed by Allah. Meanwhile, Moses' mother was inconsolable about her lost son. She nearly made the situation public, but Allah strengthened her heart. She kept her loss private within the family and asked her daughter Miriam to keep an eye and ear out for news of the baby. Miriam soon tracked down the infant, and the heart of Moses' mother ached so much that she almost gave away his identity, had we not reassured her heart in order for her to have faith in Allah's promise. And she said to his sister, "Keep track of him. so she watched him from a distance while they were unaware. Quran 28:10-11. The timing was perfect. Musa was refusing milk from all of the women brought to Asia's residence. Fortunately, wet nursing, or the practice of breastfeeding infants by women who are not their birth mothers, was common in those days. So, when Miriam saw Asia's servants at the local market, she offered her mother's home and wet nursing services. And we had caused him to refuse all wet nurses at first, so his sister suggested, "Shall I direct you to a family who will bring him up for you and take good care of him?" Quran 28:12. In 66:11 God says, "And Allah sets forth an example for the believers, the wife of Pharaoh who prayed, 'My Lord, build me a house in paradise near you, deliver me from Pharaoh and his evil doing, and save me from the wrongdoing people.'" As we see, this is the inspiring story of the most powerful queen of her time, who gave up her power and wealth to become a believer of Allah. These two queens, though separated by time and geography, share a common thread: their conversion to Islam. Their stories, immortalized in the Quran, serve as a beacon for Muslims, reminding us of the transformative power of faith. They exemplify the virtues of humility, courage, and the relentless pursuit of truth, characteristics that are as relevant today as they were in their time. For Quran learners, their stories offer valuable lessons. They illustrate that faith is not bound by status or circumstance, and that anyone, regardless of their position or background, can find solace and guidance in the teachings of Islam. These queens, with their incredible journeys to Islam, continue to inspire Muslims around the world, reminding us that faith can be found in the most unexpected places and circumstances. Join us next as we explore more true stories. Please share this. Thank you.